Alright. Hey guys, Dante here, and welcome back to my channel, The Burgos Art. It has been quite a while. Oh, give me a second as I get a cord away from my shoulder. It's hanging off the camera, which is why it's bouncing. But anyway, yes, it has been quite a while, and welcome back to my Sunday night stream. Happy New Year, everyone. For those of you in which the concept of time is merely but a mortal condition. Welcome as well to my stream. So it is good to be back. I've been working on many projects, and dealing with personal events in my life. Nothing bad, good things in fact. But yeah, so you know, let's get right into this. Let's get into today's stream. Today's stream is really different. It's some construction. Some construction, and if we get really quick and if we get far enough in it, then we'll get into some actual sculpting. Let me take off my headset for a minute. There we go. Let me also lower the background music. It's a bit much for me. There we go. So we're doing construction, and then if we can get to it, doing sculpting. So this is more of a look into the madness that is my mind when I work on projects that I've never done before. And what are we doing today? We are making this guy. So let me see if I can get him in frame. This drawing of this severed head with bat wings, this mutated monstrosity. This was actually part of a live stream I did a while back. As usual, you can find those on my YouTube page. So I inked this picture, but the picture itself is actually quite old. Once I did that, as I'm picking up stuff I'm dropping, once I did that and posted it, my friend Ray, who I've been doing work with for special effects, some of you might remember the sculpture I did a while back on a stream, which produced this wonderful latex kind of puppet head. That you'll see more about that later. But yeah, so Ray is the individual I'm doing practical effects with and for, because he also does practical effects as well as writing. So he saw that picture and he was like, I want this in my short film. Dante, can you make this? So we're making a small version of it that will essentially be a puppet for a practical effect, right? So I went ahead and I've already sculpted the main head on a small scale, which fits the layout we have here. So this is the head right now, and he fits pretty much the proportions of this drawing, of this blue drawing you see here. I am very happy with him, and I can continue picking at him and doing more detailed work. But for now, I'm going to leave him for now, and we're going to go to the wings. So we're doing the head separate and the wings separate, and then we'll attach all of it together later on. So put him to the side without damaging him. So right now we're going to work on the wings. We're going to work on how we're going to figure out these wings. So today we are taking these small pieces of wood, which were carved out of kind of like a Lincoln log place that I bought this for like $2. It was like a whole box of just these guys. They're stronger than balsa wood, but they're also just kind of lightweight. They're somewhere in between. I don't know what they are, but I have a whole box full of these, and I made these right and left. His right and left, that is. And these are the palms. And we're going to go ahead and put some metal wiring into the limbs, and we're going to work on this hand right now. We're going to work on this arm. So we're going to make the metal framing of the fingers of the wings, and then we'll move over to the sculpting part of it. But I want to get the framing first, because the frame is not only going to be used to hold the clay in position, but when it's done and we mold it, I'm going to use that same framing for the internal mechanisms. Basically a skeleton. We're making a skeleton, people. I went to yonder depot of home, and I found some nice steel rods, and we're gonna bend these and glue them into place. And yeah, that's the first step. So we're gonna do that for now. Get yourself a ruler. Get yourself pen of some type. I don't think our standard crafting saw is going to do any good in the steel, so I do have this. This is like a more for like plastic PVC, but it should still do the job on these small pieces of metal. So I've really gone ahead and angled off the wood and put in holes, which are going to correspond with the palm. I was kind of debating if I wanted to make a rod that goes down directly from the wrist, if you would, the kind of wrist of the wing. Hoping that I could probably hide the rod inside the skin flap. These rods, shaking the camera again, sorry. These rods are pretty thin, but I'm thinking what might be better would be just to go whoop and then straight down, and then have the rod come out at the finger. That way I don't have to worry about trying to hide the metal rod inside the thinness of the flesh, the fleshy in between the wings, the membrane, or whatever you call it, because that's going to be thin. That might be just as thin as this. And this whole thing is going to be laid out in, this whole thing is going to be done, not in latex most likely, but in silicone. So yeah, I think the best bet would be to do that. Let me see. Yeah, it might be the best bet. I might need to drill the hole nice and deep in there to really hold it in. But we'll see. We shall see. Let's start with measurements. Put you to the side. It's a rough estimate because we are going to be bending it a little bit. Let's say 6 inches, right? So 6 inches for one finger for the pointer, but we're also going to add some extra. Let me see, how much is that? That's about 1/2 inch right there. Yeah. So let's say, let's make it 7 inches. That way we can incorporate. Yeah, let's make it 7 inches to incorporate the little pointed nail at the end of it. Just got a giant thing in the chat. Might be spam. Let me see. Yeah, thank you for the offer, but no thank you. For only $19.99, you too can have extra followers. Yeah, I don't. I'm good. I'm pretty sure I'm good. Even though we're not using the crafting box, crafting box. Even though we're not using the crafting saw, we can use the box just to hold things in place. Yeah, I don't got no fancy work table to cut your, to cut your metal on and stuff like that. Trying to curse. There we go. I apologize if the sound is irritating to people, especially since the metal rod is right next to the freaking microphone. Sorry about that. Jeez, that was not my intention. There we go. Luckily, these rods, they're not too thick, which is good, because you can just go ahead cut the center out, and then essentially break them off. There we go. Pink. Bam. Alright. Let's do one at a time. Once again, sorry for the horrific noise it makes. I made sure to label where all the fingers go. This is his left hand. I'm going to do while we're here, I'm going to deepen the pinky hole. Basic Dremel. This is a drill bit made for the Dremel. It is a crappy drill bit, in my opinion. Oh, so I got to get beneath the camera to get more cord. That went straight through. Now you can even see it through there, but yeah, I want to sink this pinky, since I'm going to be using the pinky as the puppeteering rod. Yeah, I want to definitely sink that in. Let's see. Okay. It is one finger. Now the middle finger, the pinky rod literally goes all the way through, so all these guys interlock. So I have to make sure I don't overshoot myself. That sinks in about 1/4 inch. I should mark that down. Okay, but how long is the actual finger? Yeah, sculpting is the fun part. I mean, it's all fun. But on camera, I'm not sure how fun it is to watch me just freaking tear metal apart. This whole thing is curving, so let's theorize. Once again, let's say 6.5, right? But 6.5 plus that little pinch at the end. That little bit at the end for the anchor. So we're gonna make it right about there. I want to get all the fingers ready, and then we glue them in. We're just gonna basically anchor them in with some epoxy glue. And then this is the longest one. So I want to give the rod. Let's see. Let's give the rod puppet maybe 9 inches. Yeah, 9 inches from here, from the end. And then I could consume 1 inch of that to add a wooden stick at the end of it. So essentially we're going to make puppet hands. Making big old puppet hands. Okay, so I'm going to... You stay there. Or I don't get lost in what I'm cutting. For those of you who've never done any kind of construction or any kind of woodwork, saws face one direction with sometimes you feel you have to push back and forth. But for example, for this, the teeth face towards me, so it's the pull back that really actually cuts it. And something I learned regarding some of the saws we have at my job when I'm cutting down and pruning trees. Well, when I'm pruning trees, I don't really cut down trees. That is slightly out of my pay grade. But if you prune a tree enough, you might as well be cutting it down. Okay, that's him. Okay, folks. Last but not least. So this guy gets sunken like way in there, like there. So essentially we'll be gluing the pinky first. Like we'll stick it in first, that way it goes all the way through, and then put the other guys in. And then we could slowly start bending them into place. I realize these are pretty much the same size now. After all that attempting to measure, everything's pretty much the same size. Of course it is. Of course it is. Okay, so that goes there. We're going to roughly bend it there. To about there. And then we'll go green screen the rest of it, if that makes sense. And 9 inches. There we go. You ever gone to an art store? It's like a candy store. So I go to Home Depot. I'm like, oh, how many do I need of these? I should get 2. No, I should get 4. So I bought 4 of these rods. Just for the sake of having them in the future. Because I'm always needing like little thin rods like this. Excuse me. And then I also, while I was there, was like, you know what else I could use? And I bought also this really lightweight aluminum pipe. Because I figured that would be the rod for the head, which will also maybe put some mechanics inside. Because I'm thinking, maybe I could put some mechanics inside the head. And after I bought both of those, my mom's like, hey, by the way, this freaking chair. After I bought both of those, my mom's like, hey, by the way, I found these random rods in the house. I don't know where they're from. They're hollow. I'm like, damn, I could have used this. It's hollow. It's like a good length. I could have used this for the head. But yeah, so, you're there and you start buying stuff and buying stuff. You're buying stuff that you need and buying stuff that you want. And, it's just like a candy store. That's how I am when I go to, like, freaking Utrecht or Blick or whatever you want to call it. Because they still go by 2 different names sometimes. In case any of you watching this are super worried, I am also being hyper aware of where my finger is. I'm not putting my finger beneath this. I'm putting my finger way on the side over here. I'm also hyper aware of that. But am I wearing safety eye protection? You'll never know. Woo! Bam! Okay. Take those metal shavings and shake them out into the garbage. Because trust me, you do not want them anywhere near you. I'm marking this with an X. When I put it back into the collection of the rest of them, I'll be able to see it. It's like picking the short straw. That way I know which one I've already used. And if that makes no sense, what I mean is this. They're all together in here like this. So I know exactly which one was the last one I used. Okay. So we're going to glue them in. Let that dry for a bit. And then I'll start bending them. Bendy, bendy in the ink machine. Scrap paper. Your glue. Where's my mixing stick? Where's my super duper professional mixing sticks? Oh, there they are. Super duper professional mixing sticks. They call them craft sticks. Even though we know they're popsicle sticks. But like, is popsicle stick like a copyrighted name? They can't just call them popsicle sticks? Because crab sticks don't have to be round. They could be flat. I don't know. These are the questions that leave me awake up at night. Yeah, there we go. Pull it back a bit. Now it sucks back in. In the store, they had quick dry epoxy, clear epoxy. I was like, just give me one that dries quick. I don't need one that looks like skin tone or anything. Just give me one that dries quick, please. Okay. Always have a little collection of this. This is all just scrap paper. Remember, I think at my previous job, my previous place of employment, they were just cutting up, they were just cutting up some flyers, and they had this like hard cardstock, really good cardstock paper, and they're like, "Oh, let's gonna try it." I'm like, "No, give it to the pack rat. Give it to the pack rat. We'll find a reason for it. We'll find something to do with it." And I just have this nice little stock of craft paper that I use for, like, if I'm using a glue gun or something. Yeah, if you're using a glue gun, or in this case, you just need it for epoxy mixing. Got a whole little stack of like 50 of these, little bookmarks. Feel free to make whatever joke you want. Just remember, both YouTube and Twitch, I think they have certain rules on what you can and can't say in stream and in chat. So if you want to make a joke, go ahead and make a joke of me fiddling with this odd viscous material. Just remember where we're at, and you might get knocked off. Nice. Oh, stay. It might not be perfect because the holes I drilled are a bit wide, so they do have a wobble to them. So I'm just kind of spiraling that. There we go. That way they thicken up. I also did a small hole on top for the thumb. I don't think I'll cut a piece of metal for that. I think I'll just use something a bit. Well, actually, no. I have some pre-cut from a previous project. In fact, this was used for a previous puppet I made. So I might just cut a small piece and put it in there too. But this is the main thing. So this is the main guy right here, right? Now, so let's. There we go. Let's leave this alone. I'm on the side. Whew. And yes, this stuff stinks. Okay. So I've marked the opposite guy as well. Right? And there's a little hole for if I want to do a thumb or not, I'm not sure. We're going to go ahead and drill into these, following as best as we can these lines. So we're going to make this one the deepest one once again, because that needs to be the opposite side for the puppeteering rod. Speaking of being careful with your hands, why hold a piece of wood when you can just clamp it? I think it was it Gremlins? Clamp Industries. And their logo was literally just like them crushing the planet. That was their logo. It was like a little clamp squeezing the planet. Clamp Industries. I find it funny because in that movie, that guy has like an epiphany about like what's really important in life. But to be honest, I never saw the business guy. Like, I never saw the CEO of Gremlins in Gremlins 2. In Gremlins 2, I never saw the CEO as being a villain. Like, he just wasn't. He was kind of lost in like the wave of the future and what's next in life and like what runs properly. But like everyone else, or everyone beneath him that worked in that company were just like, they were villains. But the actual CEO wasn't. He was kind of like Hammond from Jurassic Park. He just couldn't see. He couldn't see beyond. He couldn't see the problems beyond his company. All right. Let's see how far that goes. Come on. There we go. That doesn't seem right at all. Really? That's it? Always feels like it was... It feels like it went deeper. That's what she said. Or is that what he said? I'm not too sure. There we go. Yeah, that seems good. About half an inch in. I think that's right. Now we'll do the other fingers. And the issue is, I noticed when I was inking this guy, and I was kind of flipping the canvas back and forth. Yeah, the arms, or at least with the original drawing. I don't know if I corrected it during the inking, but the wings aren't necessarily symmetrical. So I'm not sure if I can just duplicate the exact same lengths. It might, to be honest, given a 1/4 inch or so, it might be the exact same when I duplicate the fingers. We'll see. Probably see this. Yep, you could probably see the smoke coming off. Do it in small bits. Don't just all the way through. Freaking set the damn thing on fire. That. Nice. That's about 1/4 inch. Yeah, a 1/4 inch. In fact, it's not making contact with this one. I'm not sure if I want to have them all make contact. That way they all glue to each other. I feel like that might be a good idea. Like, actually have them pierce straight through to one another. That way they're touching. It's okay if they touch. Yep. Had to blow into it to get the other side out. Are you touching? I thought you were. Yeah. It's not. This guy's a little bit of an angle. See that? But once again, a little bit of bending here and there. It should be fine. Can I just use this one? Nah, it's too short. This is too short. Of course you're too short. It's not like I could use the old, recycle old material. No, I have to go ahead and make brand new messes. Come on. Lower the speed a bit. There we go. Had to make a little divot first. Almost. There he goes. I don't know if you heard it go dunk, but that was it making contact with the other channel. Nice. Let me see. Once again, not sure if I should even bother making one for the thumb. Nah. I don't want to keep adding holes to it and the whole thing breaks apart. I don't think I'm going to make one for the thumb. Just going to leave it the way it is for now. 1 second. Clean. No, this stream is not sponsored by any of the products you've seen so far. Let's see, how's this? It's getting there. All right. I'm going to put this to the side. Don't need to accidentally like turn it on or something. Hey, batteries are good. It's funny. Because, you know, in the little, the tags you put on your Twitch stream, it'll be like digital art, drawing, digital art. I have chill, and I have chill as one of the tags in the stream, and all you hear is freaking power saws going off. I don't know, maybe for some people that's their ASMR. Thinking I might have to cut. Nah. Once it's all sculpted, it should be fine. Yeah. So the idea is, when it's all done, the skeleton you see here will be a solid frame. The head will have a kind of frame on the inside, kind of a skull. The bicep here So this will be solid. They'll have a metal bar or something in there. This will be solid. This will not be solid. It'll just be the silicone. So this will be the point of flex. And then when we attach the wing, all the wing fingers are solid. But the wrist isn't, which is this. So this will also be a point of flex. And we'll probably really attach it by maybe for the final product I'll like put a string in it. Maybe that's what I'll use the extra hole for. Maybe I'll put like a rope in here. And whatever I have in the bicep will be hollow, like a hollow tube of some type. That might actually work. And then I'll string it through, and then also add just a little bit of the silicone, because silicone actually adheres to silicone pretty well within like the first 24 hours. All right. Okay, phase 2. Step 1, still underwear. No. Yeah, step 1, still underwear. Step 2. Step 3, profit. And in truth is, there is no profit coming off of this guy. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it, curving it as I go. So it's about 6.5, about, plus, oh no. About a 1/2 inch? Yeah. Make it 7 inches. 7 inches. For this mook. 7 inches. Whap! Roughly 1/2 inch for the plug. 6.5 roughly for the finger. So at the sculpting stage, the idea is, so for the head, it's going to have to be a 360. It's going to be a full sculpt, not sculpt, molding. A full mold, front and back, to get all the fine details, right? It's going to be a trick. It's going to be a bit tricky, but we've done it. I did it with the, we did it with this boy. Right? This was a full, you can actually kind of see the seam. This is a full mold. Video for that coming soon on YouTube, people. I am editing the video showing the final stages of how we got to that guy. How we got from clay to that guy. So that's going to be a fun video once I finish the audio for that. But the wings will be different. I think to save us a headache. I'm thinking of sculpting these flat, just like this. Because the back is meant to be the mesh of the wings. So the whole back's going to probably just be flat anyway. So I'm going to sculpt it flat, mold it flat, flip it over, take the clay out, pour it in, and then if we do want some designs on the back of the fleshiness of the wings and the knuckles or whatever, then I could just drop some more material on top of it. Because once again, whether it's latex or silicone, it adheres to itself, and I think that'd be a lot easier for doing all this. Okay, to the fingers. I'm just saving time by going halfway in and then just bending it until it breaks off. Like so. I feel like it saves me a headache. So, you saw I pulled out the little dust busters. Is that what they call nowadays? Are they still called dust busters? I don't know. I remember when I was younger, they were all called Dustbuster. Had the exact same shape. They were all beige, like a freaking old Super Nintendo. They were all beige. Anyway, dust busting cleans up. Now, if it was sawdust, you could just go and blow it all off. But since working with metal, never just blow off metal shavings, please. Never ever just blow off metal shavings. That stuff is horrid if it gets in the air, into your eyes, into your lungs. Sawdust sucks. Metal shaving might kill you. So, never just brush it off. I got a magnet stuck to me. The hell was this magnet doing here? I actually fixed my work table. There's still a lot of junk on the very edge. But not junk that gets in the way. Like, I could just go and clean off the main work table. And everything on the edge is, like, future project stuff. That's a tomorrow Dante issue. Okay, 3. This bends a lot. 6, probably the same thing. Most likely the same thing. Probably do like a 6.5. 3, 6, yeah, 6.5-ish. Once again, see how much it sinks in first. About a quarter. Let me see. Six and a half should actually do it, because this finger is a bit different. It curves a bit more. You know, I still can't place what's this the song that's playing in the background. I don't know if you guys can still hear it because I lowered the volume. I still cannot place what song it reminds me of. I'm not sure if it's from a video game. I still cannot place what that beat is. Bum 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 bum. It bugs me to this day. One of these days, we shall know. We shall know. Is this almost the same? It's the same freaking thing. 6.5. So I'm doing the same thing all around, pretty much. Still good to double check. Still always good to double check. What is it? Measure twice, cut once. And you can swear as much as you want in between. Motherfucking! This is scream your head off. As I mentioned, I'm still editing the video. So what was it? It was, I think, 3 sessions, roughly 2 hours each, for sculpting we call it the demon head. That's what the other guy was, the demon head. Not this one, the other one. So I want to say, which one's the right one? That's too small. Okay, you're the extra. Anyway, so it's about 6 hours worth of sculpting. And then there was the molding process, which I recorded. There was the casting process, which was sludge casting, where you pour the latex in and shake it around the mold and to get a hollow shell. And then I stuffed him with, so here are the didn't quite make it lengths. Then I stuffed it with cotton. We got some resin eyes. Like, really nice looking resin eyes, and I sculpted the teeth over some, like, cheap Halloween teeth. And yes, he's meant to have this giant, exaggerated fang. He has a little bit of movement, just a pinch, with crazy eyes. And the whole thing's just stuffed with, like, not cotton, but, like, cheap pillow stuffing. Cheap pillow stuffing. They gave him a wet wash of browns and blacks around here just to kind of highlight the scars. I'm not trying to go for too realistic on everything, but he looks amazing, just absolutely amazing. But yeah, as he stares into, I don't know if he's looking at the camera. You look at the camera? There we go. Stares into the camera. But I am editing the video for this, and I realized going back to it, I don't like the way they edit. I don't like the way the speed of the video is. Like, I'm trying to talk too fast. I got like, it's one of my quick vids, so it's gonna be a quick vid where I start where from start to finish of the actual process is meant to be like within 15 minutes of me talking, and the video itself is a bit longer. But I gotta find a way to like really pace it better. But we'll get to that. We will get to that. Okay. Now this is once again an issue of, let me see, so about there to there. Right? That's about theoretically 2 1/4. That's another 5 inches. Right? And then we're going to sink this in all the way through. That gives us, woo, it's almost an inch. So theoretically, bam. Turn at the knuckle. Bam. 5 inches. Bam. Almost 6 inches, right? So almost 6 inches, and then we add another 9 inches for the actual rod. So let's do it. So 6 inches first. That's there. And there, the first line is how far it goes into the wooden peg, give or take. Then another 9 inches. And that's our length. There's our short boy. Let me get rid of him. He's on the side. Short boy on the side. I don't want to accidentally mix up the finger lengths. Double check that length right here. Yep, just about. Just about. Wobble, 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 wobble. These are not aluminum, they're steel. The riddle of steel. Sorry, I was watching Conan recently. Yeah, these are steel bars, 1/8 inch, and they are 48 inches long. Could have gone for like the 30. They have like a 38, which is like 10 inches shorter. But I was like, screw it. Just get the long ones and then worry about it. Because it's better to have more than less than you need. I've had that. I bought something and it's like an inch too short in length and it just ruins your day. Seems about half. Let's see if we can break it. There we go. Got a little golf flag. All right. I'm just going to do a quick little audio check. Make sure you can hear the sound of all the grinding and screaming and everything I'm saying. That seems good. Alright, everything's good. Life am good. Alright, folks. Now we're going to repeat the same process for this hand. We're going to get some, let me see. Alright. We're going to get some glue. How tacky is this glue? Alright. So it's gummy, which means we're on the right track here. There you go. It's gummy. I don't know, maybe I'll stick some crazy glue. Let it really seep in there too. But yeah, it's tacky. I'm not gonna start trying to bend it now, because then that will just snap them off. Do 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 do. Where it goes. I actually like using just a clean tip, that way I can see what I'm doing. Alright. Step 2. Yeah. All right. Luckily, there's a lot of working time with this. He says as it suddenly just decides, I'm gonna dry now. Right now, real fast. It's like crazy glue. It will never dry fast on whatever you're using it on. But if it touches the oiliness of your skin, bam! Instant dry. Now you're stuck with like an arts and craft project just adhered to your finger. Why you like this crazy glue? Why do you choose violence every time? Why? It should be a t-shirt. Crazy glue. Wakes up every morning, always chooses violence. And even if the bend isn't perfect with the wings, like I'm going to be sculpting over this. So it doesn't have to necessarily be perfect. As long as I have like the general shape I need. Just trying to get some of this into a little gap that's here. I don't like. Look at me funny. That gap's looking at me funny. Alright, gonna throw this out. Because all it takes is for me to lean on the table and suddenly it's all over my arms. So we have our wings. And I'm thinking, yeah, we're not going to get to the sculpting right now. But we can still continue with the skeleton of the wings. Stand by. Please stand by. And we're back. Ah. Once again, as I take a drink. A perfectly age-appropriate drink. Anyway, boom. A wooden dowel. Or a stick. So basically, it's a wooden stick. So I actually use these. It's a perfect, like, it's just the right kind of grip. You can add some grip tape on it if you wanted to. But this is what I used for my last puppet rods. So this was going to go into the end sticks, and we could probably give this like a good 2 inches if we wanted to. Now the Dremel is nice and all, but I might switch out this head. I'm gonna go find one that's the same size, but this has a better tooth, because this thing takes forever to go through wood. So we'll look at that as well. Hold on. Damn it, Dante, why didn't you have this set up before the stream? I know. Okay. Got my Gorilla Epoxy, so I'm going to have to use this eventually once this epoxy runs out. So I'm going to just stick this in my drawer right here, my little work drawer. Gotta tie that up. Somewhere on this table is a very, very tiny bit. There you are. Look how small that is. Look how tiny that is. This is from a drill my mom got me. So, you notice that this is pretty much just flat on top. Like it's a flat drill bit. I don't know why it's like that. So we're going to go ahead and get the equivalent size. That should be right. Okay, so there is a 1/8, and these poles are 1/8. But while drilling, there's a chance I kind of like bore it out a little bit. So we are gonna be sticking for 764. Damn, so close. So close to the fun number. We're gonna use him. Because chances are, as I'm drilling, I might, with a shaky hand, like I said, I might just make it a bit wider than it should. But before the drilling can commence, we're gonna make a nice cut, like about right there. How big is your hand? The hell was that noise? Sorry? I think my computer made a noise from a distance. A bit louder than I expected. Let's just make it 5 inches. Palm's about 3¼ give or take a flex. Let's go ahead and make it 5 inches. That way we have enough room for anyone to use it and feel comfortable. Swing it around. 5 inches it is. How good is my craft saw on this material? Actually cuts pretty well. The teeth are so small, but I would like to have like a nice clean straight cut on this. Let's see. Let me see. I could use the other saw, maybe I should, but how well is that cutting? Oh wow, that's actually cutting pretty good. Alright, yeah. So now it's just a matter of actually holding it still. Why are you not fighting me on camera? Come on. I wonder. That's pretty thin. How thin is this? Can you fit in here? He does. Does he? Yeah, it makes a bit of a scraping noise on that aluminum. I don't like that. Don't like it. Don't like it. Don't need it on camera. Don't need the scraping aluminum noise on camera. There we go. Oh no! Stay. To be honest, if I can at least get halfway in, I think I'm on camera. If I can at least get halfway in, at least I know I'm cutting straight at least. So let's see. Yeah, at least then I know I'm cutting straight. I don't know if you can see it right here on the very edge of the table. There's tons of cuts from different saws before I actually got this nice little tool. And the cut still shows up. This table is not a work table. It is a really short computer table, to be honest. I realized, yeah, it's a computer table, just super short. It's built, it has a little slot in the back, a little slot that opens up to hold all your wires and stuff. So yeah, I'm okay with, it's got it for a good price. It's standing up pretty well. It's, it's sturdy. I don't mind damaging it a little bit. But okay, if I can reduce the damage, that's always nice. There we go. Just judo chop it right down the middle, right? Is that insensitive? Like, seeing the word judo chop insensitive to a culture. Is it like saying karate chop action? Use your karate chop action. Like, I don't know. So I don't think using a random fighting term like judo chop, even whether or not that thing exists, like, do they really call it a judo chop or a judo flip? I don't think that's insensitive. If I'm wrong, if you are of the Asian persuasion and you find that insulting, put in the chat. Let us know about it. It's like right in the center. Come on. So, a few associates of mine, and myself included, got into a conversation about where certain terms come from. Where they believe certain terms come from, because it's been so long that the origins kind of get lost to history, as well as, I don't need this right now. Put it to the side. Whatever you don't need, put to the side, Dante. That's my problem. I begin adding stuff to the table. Every time something breaks off, put it to the table. I gotta like learn to cleanse as I'm working. Sorry. So as I was saying, we got into a conversation about where do certain phrases come from. And you know, if you really think about it, it's an insulting, like the term scalping. When you when someone buys a product and then sells it at 3 times the price. Another word for it would be price gouging. But scalping apparently originates from negative connotations, negative assertions, if you would, of Native Americans. As in to scalp someone. I don't know how that somehow became related to price gouging. I don't know how that works. Then there's the rule of thumb, and if you know the rule of thumb term, it was apparently an actual law, like an actual law that says when you beat your wife with a stick, you cannot use anything bigger than your thumb. So you go to the forest, you find a switch that's no bigger than your thumb, and that's what you use to beat your wife. Your wife in particular, not your kids. That was apparently a law. Yeah. Humans are weird, man. We are weird. I'm trying to think. I'm sure there's a number of terms that we use every day but don't realize, like the old connotation. We were discussing the term mother effer and where the term mother effer comes from. I won't go into details of that here on this channel. It's a bit dark. And if it's true, it's really dark and messed up. But yeah, just like talking about like things you never think about that we use all the time today in conversation. Let it be a polite conversation or otherwise. There we go. Let me get to the corner of the table. That way I can do it at an angle. Oof. That almost went straight through. Almost. I need to like mount this somehow. I need to find a way to mount. The thing is, the base is actually at an angle, so you can't really. You could mount it, but you have to mount it at an angle, which is kind of weird. I gotta like mount it to the side of the table, or on my left side most likely. That way I can scoot over and do it right there. Cause I'm right-handed, so I tend to knock into things. So if I put it on the left side, I could just scoot over and do that. But yeah, I love this thing because I could just cut, and as long as I'm, not hitting the actual edge of the table. It's built specifically. If you don't know what it is, sorry. Miter box. Notice that there's a little rim right here. Notice how everything is kind of raised. So you cut right through an object and it stops. It stops short and doesn't it doesn't gouge out the table. That's the whole point of that. And it also cuts a perfect straight, or if you're doing picture framing of some type, perfect angles like that. It's a guiding tool, and it also prevents from like cutting all the way straight through, because the object sits on the raised parts of these kind of teeth, and the blade eventually goes right past that. And I kept seeing this in the store, and it was always like too expensive for what I thought it was. For what I thought it was too expensive. I was like, I never use that. And when it comes to like small arts and craft projects like this, oh, godsend. It's a miter box. The only issue is I'm not sure where to get new saw blades for it. There we go. Look at that. Like I don't know where to get new saw blades for it. But on the plus side, a while back I bought a bunch of X-Acto blades, only to realize, oh, these blades are way too big for my basic X-Acto knife. It's like, dang, and they sat here in a drawer forever and ever and ever. Then I realized that those X-Acto blades actually fit this perfectly. So, yeah, happy little accidents. Gotta make sure to keep this door closed, because like all the little dust, or not door, this little drawer. This door closed, because all the dust built up right here. Anywho. So, put the tools to the side. What we want to do now, maybe drill in about an inch. About an inch should do it. About an inch, and we could plug these in right there. And that should, and glue them into place. I'm poking the epoxy. Still a bit tacky. This epoxy takes longer. I bought the Gorilla Glue epoxy, and that sucker says 5 minutes. But gives us time to do this. Okay then. Okay. Nice. Have you been to the dentist lately? Fun family story. Fun family story. My sister and I were never really afraid of the dentist. Never were. I don't know, whatever it was. My mom was adamant about taking us to the dentist. Was it twice a year, I think? And because of that, we just, it wasn't like this scary one-time thing we would do. You go to the dentist, you brush our teeth, go to the dentist. I got plenty of cavities, but even then, it wasn't like we were terrified to go. We didn't like the process, but we weren't terrified to go. My mom and I always, I remember this. My mom remembers it too, because she always laughs about it. We're very little. Forget how old, but little. Probably before high school, Maybe like, I'm maybe 11. My sister's like 5 years younger. And we're about to go in. And she goes in first. And I go, Kali, that's my sister. And just as she's about to go, and just as she's about to walk around the corner to enter the dentist's office itself, and I'm in the waiting room, I go, Kali. She looks back, and I go, woo! Like from a distance, I just make that noise and go, woo! My mom starts laughing, and my sister goes, shut up! And she starts laughing, and she goes in too. And like my mom would never forget that I did that to her. And my sister didn't care. Like she laughed about it. But just like we used to, just poking, there's those moments where you have fun poking at your siblings. Okay. Note I'm using this to hold it because I don't want to slide and hit my hand. We're going to try and be centered on this. Look how easier that goes in than the actual Dremel. The Dremel drill. Let me turn it, make sure I'm still going at a good angle. A little bit more, and I'll make it an inch. That's about an inch. Yep. Good. Like I said, I'd rather go smaller with this. Then I could core it out a little bit. About an inch. Nice. Now, I'm not an expert when it comes to woodworking or metalworking, but I've seen enough people online to get the gist of one singular thing. You should start small and work your way up. Don't just take a giant drill and be like, ah, that's the size I need. Sometimes you need to gently work your way up into it. You can tell I was using this to hang up pictures in my house. I was drilling holes in the wall, plaster buildup. Who just jumped in the chat? Give me a second as I squint at my tablet. Who just jumped in the chat? That's over on YouTube, eh? Hello, yo back. Yo yourself. Please excuse the not so chill stream full of power tools. And Dustbusters. I'm right now, essentially, if you're just tuning in, I'm right now making the handles for these rods for what's going to be a horrific rod puppet. A head with wings coming off the side of it. And once again, the head is already pre-sculpted. As I knock into the camera again, Jesus Christ. So the head is already pre-sculpted. I sculpted this over the course of 2 sessions. I consider a session like a good 2 hours, hour and a half. So first hour was me blocking out the shapes, like basically putting clay all on top and just doing general shapes. And the next session, which is another 2 hours, was me smoothing out certain details. And once again, I could probably go back in and really work on all the fine detailing, but right now I want to move forward and get the wings that are going to be sprouting out the side of this guy's head. Okay. Ooh, sorry about that. Ooh, sorry about that noise, people. Woo! That squeaking noise, which I once again apologize for, is just me digging on the edges. I'm not drilling in, I'm coring out this. Because this drill bit is about the exact same diameter as the poles we're using. That's a horrible noise. Absolutely freaking horrible. But it is what we need. Okay. Put you to the side. Oh my god, so sorry about that. There we go. There's our test stick. Any Harry Potter fans out there? What is it? Abracadabra. It's Avacadabra. By the way, regardless of how you feel about the author herself, I always thought that was really interesting. That Abracadabra is like us common folk misinterpreting a magic spell, which is the Abracadabra, the most horrible spell. For those of you who aren't Harry Potter fans, basically Abracadabra in the Harry Potter world of something like a corpse, a cadaver, something cadaver, kills people instantly. So the most horrible spell in Harry Potter world. Speaking of terms speaking of real life terms, that when you trace the origin has horrible backstories. Harry Potter's the same thing. It all comes full circle. This one sticks a bit off center. That's fine. Once again, put it in, a little bent. That'll be fine. I don't know if I want to glue these on just yet, because I have to sculpt and then mold it. Would these be in the way of me molding them? They probably would be in the way of me molding them, like in the actual final casting, but we'll figure it out. Just shanking people. Magically shanking people. Harry Potter wand. I like it. Why not? Just taking a really roughed up sanding sponge. It's all torn up. I'm roughing up the edges of the poles. I should have done that for up here, which I didn't. I just kind of plugged them in. That way they'll adhere better to the glue. Alright. Yeah, let's since I still gotta wait, since I still want to wait for this to really, really adhere before I start bending the poles, we're gonna just keep gluing. We're gonna keep working on building stuff up. Because basically this will dry first, and this will dry first, and then the handles will dry next. Let's get to it. Ooh, why are you should really be sunken in there for safety. Sink. No, put it the long way. There we go. Oh, there's one of the, like I mentioned earlier, there's one of the large X-Acto blades that I can now use this for. Alright, back to it. Before we do, can remove the paper from this. In fact, might as well use this paper for our next gluing session. Why waste more and more paper? There we go. Just want to see how it looks. It is good. Not perfectly aligned, but enough where I could bend it and still make it work. In fact, what I'm gonna do that. That seems about right. And this is just one big curving bend, so maybe like a bend there. Yeah. You know what? Screw it. Just gotta be careful how much pressure I put on this. I gotta make sure I bend it, like, I guess you could say parallel. There we go. Look at that. That is good. Yeah, that looks nice. So it's like so far away from the camera. Let me tilt it. I don't know if you can see that well. That's how that's working. Okay. Grab it here. Above where the glue's at. And then bend. There we go. perfect, but almost getting there. It's getting there. And that's okay if it's not perfect. Just enough where I could sculpt around it. You know, just, you know, give it some meat around it. Good. This is still sticking out a bit more than I'd like, but it's not, you know, it's not all going to be one-to-one. Give me a sec. I gotta take it away from the camera for a minute. There we go. I'll make it work. I'll definitely make it work. Yeah. And I'm going to bend the very tip of it for the nail. You just don't want to go, do you? Come on. Come on. I've been good, man. I said, man. I've been good in general. I've been pretty good. Day job is going very well right now. As of Tuesday, I am the new assistant gardener. Basically, I got a promotion. That's right, people. Yours truly finally got a promotion after a few years of being, well, just where I've been lately. So it's nice to have that. Aside from that, I'm working on, like, so the job's going well. I have a series of side projects, but more importantly, like projects like this is like the special effects projects. These are the projects I want to try. I want to try making latex puppets and silicone puppets. So these are the projects that that little Dante would have always loved getting his hands into, and I'm happy I'm finally getting my chance to get into this. Okay. That's good. Once again, gotta be careful with the It's still a little tacky, but yeah, I'm doing good. Family's good. I'm healthy. Um, my house is still standing. I have not burned it down yet. Oh, and I don't know if I've announced this before, and I'll probably announce it later on, again and again. This year's Brooklyn Comic Con, yours truly will once again have a table at this year's Brooklyn Comic Con. It's not for a while; it'll be like midsummer, but they are already advertising it, talking about selling tickets. They are already like doing their rounds in terms of advertising. Brooklyn Comic Con. Guess where it's gonna be? Queens? No, Brooklyn. Brooklyn Comic Con. I do want to also get back into once again doing conventions. I got to pull out my old convention list and start checking now for upcoming conventions. I'm avoiding conventions that are really early in the season. Like I remember like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, before COVID really hit, I did a convention around this time of year, and it was like a dead zone. It was a nice convention, nice setup, good people turn out, but just no one's doing shopping, like right after the holidays. So, yeah, I'm gonna start getting back into that, which is very nice. Okay, I want to let this sit. I want to let this one sit a bit more. Cause if this one's still a little tacky, I don't want to I don't want to dive and start bending this guy, because I already felt on this bigger finger that from the base it was moving a bit, like it was wiggling. So let's not tempt fate and have like all this stuff fall apart on me. But I will glue this one on. So small amount this time. That way I could say at least frame wise this guy's done. How about you? How have you been? Any small news? Nothing crazy. Any small news coming up? What's going on? Talk to me. If you wish to share on the interwebs. If not, that's fine. Just trying to squeeze it all in there. And twist. All right, and that is the pretty much the completed inner skeleton. I'm not gonna do a thumb. I'll just sculpt on top of that. I think the thumb will be okay without it. If I need to sculpt, because I am sculpting the nails. The whole thing's gonna be silicone. I'm not gonna use like hard plastic. I'm going to sculpt. You know, you ever seen some sculptures where they'll do the entire sculpture, then they'll very meticulously remove the teeth from the sculpture, and then do a copy of it, and then have to make rough teeth to go into it, which is always really cool. But I can never get it just right. The teeth just kind of hang out. So this whole thing, the little nails and everything, the claws are all gonna be of this same material. So we'll see if I need to put a little anchor point as I'm sculpting to hold that nail in place, because these. Sorry, I just had a brain fart and I got really panicked for a minute. Forgive me. I'm like, where's the third finger? I forgot that this is the third finger. I just had a complete panic moment. The nails go just about there. My brain just stopped functioning for a second. Yeah, but that's your. So this is the kind of thing you could use. This is the kind of process you could use for you making puppet rigs, right? Just nice steel beams. You could bend them. Soft wood. Not balsa wood soft, but soft wood. You could get this at any hardware store. I got this at Home Depot. These metal bars at Home Depot. Some hardware stores might have them too. Once again, these hands were just made out of spare pieces of wood. This is from a toy set. It's pretty hard. Jenga, that's what it is. It's like almost like a Jenga toy set, but it's some old building toy set. I'm sure you could use different glue for it. This is like a quote-unquote all-purpose epoxy. And you could do this and then use aluminum rods, or even just aluminum wire that you twist to give it like that extra tightness, that extra strength. A thin wire that you twist, and you can make puppet hands that you can pose and move around. This is like the basics of that. Dude, awesome. That is awesome. I was actually thinking about that just the other day. Also, I know apparently there's a whole bunch of stuff happening right now in the D&D world regarding licensing and everything. It doesn't affect us individual players. It's just something I saw in the news. Ooh. By the way, where are you? As I was cleaning all my art stuff, there's a bunch of papers I hold on to. Like, this old sketch. I need to scan this sketch, and I could get rid of the paper. So I'm going through a list of like literally like pocket tissue paper, stuff that wasn't in my sketchbook. And I remember I held on to this for a reason. Do you recognize that? So, for those of you at home who have no idea what this little sheet is, my good friend who's in the chat right now, who on some social medias goes by the Orc, had this idea for a game, and it was really simple. It was like he explained the rules to us really quick. It's like you could write it down on one page pretty much. It requires nothing more but dice and a notepad. And you could go a little further if you were to make this professional. And I won't go to the fine details of it, but essentially it's a wrestling game. It's a simple wrestling game where you make mutant people. You decide what animals they are made of. And the dice range, if I remember correctly, the dice are basically your move. When you rile up the audience, which also adds to your move the next time. So you could like do a move, or you could choose to rile the audience. If the audience gets really excited, it then buffs your next move. And what was it called? Something Mutant League? That wasn't Mutant League. But yeah, it's a mutant thing. And dude, I have this. And I kept it. I kept it because I kind of want to do like a standard sheet, like a player sheet for D&D, but just for this, like a standard sheet. Something that will be on a notepad. Because the Game Crafter, the website I use for doing independent games, they sell notepads, but I believe they sell notepads that are printable. So if you had a game that requires note-taking in a certain way, I don't know, man. I just kept it because I thought it was like a really fun, easy game that you could try and monetize, despite how simple the game was. You don't really need all the extra stuff. But if you were to sell a kit of a big notepad with the basic layout, dice, and maybe cards, I know you were kind of mulling the idea over. I'm still down for that, man. Maybe a few cards that are like extra buffs, like metal chairs and glass bottles people throw into the ring. But yeah, I still have the thing here, and I hold on to it because I like this so much. But yeah, once again, but yeah, I'm super excited about getting back into D&D. You know, approaching it from an online aspect, just that way, you know, you take your time with it. Not everyone's stepping on each other's toes. You have to take your time since everyone's trying to talk over each other while playing it online. Let's glue the other stick on. I could glue it on without having to worry about bending this at the moment, which is fine. I've also, speaking of D&D and card games, I've also once again slowly been creeping with my newer game designs, the game concepts. I have a list of which ones are like near finish and should be focused on more, and which ones are just like, oh, if I get fatigue from the ones that are right now at the top of the list, I have a few I could get into and do some drawings for. And there is the game concept I have called Kill It With Fire, which is inspired by movies like The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, primarily. And as I was developing the game, like the game mechanics, I realized it became more and more like a D&D encounter. Like, as I was developing this card and board game, it's a board game that has cards on it. It slowly became more and more like a D&D encounter regarding like how I assign certain tasks to the different players, how it's kind of on a grid. So it is its own game, but just like if anyone who's looking for a game that is literally just get to the point, fight the monster in a D&D setup, Kill It With Fire is something I am working on at the moment. You are a group of scientists in a lab trying to stop a creature from escaping. Because once it escapes, the world could end if it escapes. And the creature also can infect other players. So it's like a 3 to 6 player game, maybe 3 to 7 player game, because one player is always the monster, the giant insect. And you're working together to stop him, but sometimes your teammates can get infected and then they join the monster side. So yeah, that's something I got a chance to go back into my files and do some artwork on that. So yes, that's on my on the list. Some of you over on, if you ever check me out on Twitter, you might have seen this. So this, by the way, was an idea another artist posted online. I regretfully cannot remember their name, but I want to say this wasn't my concept. You take your project, put it on graph paper, and you do a box. And in my case, I also separated the boxes into quadrants. So these are all the little tiny projects, from like this big project to like little ones that I've been wanting to do forever that I just kind of put to the side. All the projects I could think of. I stuck them on one paper. These are all the little things. And as you go through it, you fill it up like a loading screen. So, for example, we're doing the bat head. We're doing raised bat head, right? And that is head sculpture, wing shape, and then the final like latex and painting. So the head sculpture is pretty much done. Right? I want to do a last bit of detail on that. And we've started the wing shape. And this helps keep me mentally on track. Because if I get really burnt out with this, or in this case, we have to wait for it to sit down and dry, I could jump to like, oh, let me finish painting this. Let me do more detail on this. And etc. and etc. This is a really good way of like, when you have too many, when you're an artist who just goes from one project to the other, like I do, and has trouble like, you sit down at a table and you want to do art, but there's too many projects in front of you, you don't know what to pick from. This For anyone with a little bit of ADD, this is a godsend. It is amazing. You just pick it up and go, oh yeah, I forgot I had this. You just pick it up and just work on it and put it away. And it's piece by piece. These are not labeled in any particular order. For example, this is the guy I'm working on right now, and it's the main project I need to work on. Even though he's way down here in the bottom. I just started adding more projects. Even got one up here in the corner. So yeah, this is a great way to keep track of all that. The one thing I really don't have on that sheet is the editing part of it. Like, that's all physical projects that I'm recording. Like I'm doing right now. It is not, however, the editing stuff that needs to be done. Like video editing, like that. That's a beast in itself. It's why live streams are so nice. You don't, just live stream it and you're done. Alright. That's still really soft. But I could still plan how I want to bend this out. Okay. So, right there. There's a definite curve right there. This needs to be a hard curve. All the way. This long one is just a hard curve. So let's just get this guy done. Let's get this almost perfect right angle on that. That's gonna bug me. That's gonna bug me forever. Nice. Nice. It actually lines up this one pretty well. So it's gonna bend right here. Also very nice. Oh crap. Oh crap. It's all gone wrong. Horribly wrong. What happened? So I forget who I heard use that. What happened? Like the little Mickey Mouse what happened? And because I saw someone recently say it, I now can't get it out of my head. If you don't know what that is, I don't know, Disney released a bunch of weird like Mickey Mouse shorts. With this really, it's like just such weird animation. I'm surprised I let it go through. And there's a whole scene where like Minnie Mouse freaking falls down and Mickey dramatically runs like super worried about her, gets to her, stops and goes, "What happened?" Like, it's such a small like, it's so dramatic and then it just turns like really funny. Okay, now that I bend that, I gotta bend this back. There we go. That's not nice. Very nice. So you say you're working on the D&D game. I'm guessing that's just like the planning and the world building and stuff. Do you have any other players in mind right now? Or you just kind of just want to get a game laid out and then you go searching? This is like such a. The top fingers are always such like a gentle curve. There you go. That should do it. That should be just about enough. It's like such a gentle curve. It's hard to like get it just right. And as I say that, perfecto. Isn't there there's some Red Lantern character. Like I keep seeing pictures of her. She's a Red Lantern. I know Red Lantern's entire thing is that they're filled with rage, but so much rage that like the ring destroys them almost. Like the ring fills their blood with like fire and lava. Like it warps their body. But there is some character, and she just looks so over the top edgy because she's like a Red Lantern that has like skeleton wings. Like she has little bat wings, but they're skeleton wings. So I don't know if that's like part of her backstory. Like she's filled with rage because like her wings were destroyed. Like maybe she's a species that just has wings, and you know someone did her wrong, as they say. So like, as a Green Lantern, as a Red Lantern, she like reconstituted her wings, but they're just skeletal. I don't know, but every time I see her, I'm like, okay, she looks kind of cool, but that's like the only thing about her. At least in most depictions, she's just like your typical. She looks human, but we tint her skin green or blue to make it an alien. It's like, and then they just gave her skeleton wings. I'm like, you could have done more with that. You could have done a lot more. But I don't know her backstory. Anyway. Mini rant. Mini rant. Alright, guys. So, now we are at the impasse. Because I want to start sculpting. But I have to really I have to set this up a certain way. I have nothing big that's like I could use as a base. Not just a table. I need like a cardstock or something. I have this, which is just big enough to encompass the wing. I could put the wing right on top, and then start sculpting. But it has a wobble. Like it's not really flat. It's flat enough, but it's just not the flatness I want. The flat. So the idea is, I take this wing stencil, put it on top of this, right? Kind of map it out. Well, first of all, I need to cover this with something. Like a plastic, like even just a plastic sheet. Like really cover it. Like a party sheet, like a cheap party sheet. I have a whole bunch of them. Do a thin layer, very thin layer of clay. That is the silhouette of the wing. Silhouette, and it'll be the membrane. Put this on top of that, and then sculpt the muscles and the actual fingers on top of that. The whole idea is then I'll wall it. Eventually, once that sculpture is done, wall it off. Move this plate somewhere else, and then do a nice cast of it. Nice square cast. Flip the cast. Clean out the clay. Separate the clay from this thing. And then pour in the latex. Set this in there. Hopefully, it'll work. Set that in there properly. And then see where it goes from there. That's kind of the idea. So you know what? I don't know if we could go right into. I don't know if we could go into the. I don't know if we can go right into that part. Let me see if I have something to cover this with. Like a plastic, because I wanna when we go ahead and put the alginate plaster molding, it needs to be able to. I want to be able to peel it off of this. So maybe I could put something plastic on this. Stand by. Stand by. be surprised how much mileage I get out of these stupid like $3 to $4 like freaking party table plastics. I used one as a top when I did the first plaster, rather than a big heavy like painting top. I just used this when I did a plaster work. I use them all the time. When I buy like a whole pack of these, a whole pack. I buy like 3 packs of these when I do conventions. Like one to cover the table, one to cover the stuff when I'm not at the table, and then one as like one to cover saying like little details. This come in handy. I went to Family Dollar, not Family Dollar. It's called Five Below, and they had like a green screen sheet, and I knew it was gonna be garbage, but I was like, let me try it anyway. Spent $5. It was just like one of these. It was like even like the thinness of it, like you could see through it. It was pretty much just one of these for like $5. I was like, whatever. I didn't lose money. These things are usually $5 anyway. So yeah, so I'm thinking we take this, put it on, because these are meant to be water resistant. So that will give us what we need. Ah. Come on, let go. Sorry, just something. I open a drawer and something's sticking out. And every time I open and close it, it grabs everything around it. It's like super thin. Super duper. But it should be enough. Yeah, it should be just enough for what we need. Just gonna go ahead, cut a sheet of this. And we're doing prep. We might not go into the full sculpting today, but we are doing prep. Ironic enough, even though these are kind of see-through, I feel if you bought one of these for like $5 and you were to hang it on a white wall, like if it was, I'm like, hi, am I in the camera yet? If you bought like a green one of these or a blue one and either doubled it, like just, you know, don't completely open it, but just like double it, hang it behind you, or even just hang it up on a white or gray or whatever wall you have in your house, you could probably still use it as a green screen. Because it'll still have like that rich color. It's just, you know, as long as it's flat against something, it's not necessarily see-through. Nope. Ah, I knew it. I thought I had cut it. I thought I had cut a single sheet. I had cut a double sheet, which is fine, because once again, look how thin that is. That's fine. I don't care. Alright. Now, should I double it? Just to make sure I don't rip anything. Should I just staple this in? Just bam, bam with a stapler? Let's see what I have. No. The whole point is it to be as smooth as possible. And I don't want... If I staple it, it's just gonna freaking not be smooth. It's gonna have little ridges on it. Once again, we are prepping this material to then be used to sculpt on top of. Because this is meant to be like, you know, it's a cheap plastic, but it's meant to be like you know, like a water resistant plastic. It's like a sculpt on top and everything. Now I'm realizing when I go to do the wings, like I mentioned, I'm going to do a very thin layer of clay for the wings. I keep telling myself I should really buy. It's like a pasta maker, but it's, but it's used for art supplies. This is a roller. You have like a roller where you put your clay in, and you like freaking Play-Doh-esque roller where you just and it comes out perfectly flat. I'm like, I should buy one of those. I should. Now that I'm doing more and more sculpting, I think that's what it comes down to. I don't buy it because I'm like, oh, just sit there and collect dust. But now that I am doing sculpting, I would need something like that. Because you only get so far with a freaking wooden roller. And trust me, it gets tiresome after a while. There we go. How much do I have on that? Stand by, people. I'm going to try something. If I can get my freaking printer to work. Be back in a second. In the meantime, let's just keep him company. And we're back. So this is what we're gonna look like. Give or take a few design choices. That's the boy. That's our boy right there. Hit the camera again. Always hitting the camera. Yeah, I stepped away to do a stencil real quick of this guy. Just print him out. Okay, so yeah, we're doing these parts in separate pieces because I know how they do various types of molding techniques. It doesn't mean I'm as skilled as the professionals. So it's nice to have alternative ways of approaching things. You know, of approaching how you're going to do a project. Like I said, this guy's going to be a flat mold because the back of the wing is going to just be flat. And I don't even know how long this guy's going to be on camera. He might just be on it just for a few minutes, but he's meant to be the money shot, more or less. So I want to make sure I can get it as good as it can be. And sometimes you have to tell yourself, you know what? I watched 100 YouTube videos on it. I've seen how they do it, but I still don't think I'm able to pull that off. I can't do a 4-part latex mold that's perfectly aligned. I've actually done I've done a whole bunch of urethane rubber molding. That's what I use a lot of my castings with. A lot of my sculptures are done now with an epoxy clay, as opposed to this as a regular clay I use. Then I do a urethane mold. It's by Smooth On, and even then, I'm like, sandwich molding is kind of hard to get it like always right. I see like these perfectly done molds online. Maybe I'm just rushing it. I think I rushed too quickly. I'm like, I want it done now. Never mind when I see stuff done that's like a 3-part mold. But Dante, you say, my imaginary audience. Nowadays, all that stuff is, it's done by machines. It's all those molds are Dremeled and precise machine-made molds. So, of course, no one could do it perfectly. Wrong. Look at the Ninja Turtle toys in the 80s and stuff. That was all sculpted by wax and then molded. Like, they didn't have 3D programming to, like, render all those things and then do it, and then invert it to make a perfect mold for it. Like, that stuff... that stuff was done by hand at one point. Not to say the new stuff isn't, like, good because it's not done by hand. I'm just saying, like, there's a hard skill to do. Hard skill to have. Right about there seems good. Then we could still do a wall around this if I had to. I don't want to use the Sharpie. At least I don't want to use a I don't want to use this thick Sharpie. I want to get a fine line on that. Yes, we are going to do some sculpting, people. We are getting to the sculpting process. Why not? Hey, all the batteries are still good. Everything's still charged up. My freaking tablet, like, it's been plugged in this whole time, but it uses more power than it needs to when it's charging. So it's been plugged in for the past freaking 2 hours. We've been streaming for just over 2 hours, or just about 2 hours, and it's still like at 89%. It doesn't want to like fully charge. 'Cause, 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 Now, I am a bit behind schedule for this particular project. I say behind schedule, but like basically we wanted to get some of these special effects stuff done earlier. What it really comes down to is just that, you know, life gets in the way. Life finds a way to get in the way. Which is fine. I've told the fellow artists I've been working with that you know, things have been a bit busy lately, and now I'm back on track. Okay, and that minus my hair. Yeah, there. Yeah, there. What are you doing? What are you doing? Come here. There you go. Minus my hair. That is. Then I'll eyeball the actual sculpting. This one to get the frame. All right. Good. Right hand. Let me just. This is the left hand. Right hand. This stencil. And the main stencil, which I'm going to hang back on my wall for reference, all going to be moved to the side for now. Where's my tape? Masking tape, where are you? I'm not going to use duct tape to put this on my wall. It's going to screw up my wall. Let's move him to the side for now. Let's just put him right over here. Right up there. Okay. Tools we don't need must be put away. We're going to put away all the tools we don't need at the moment. This includes boxes, miter boxes, sawing, saws, rulers, epoxy resin. For now, epoxy glue. Jesus Christ, there we go. If I go through enough words in the alphabet, I'll eventually know what I'm trying to say. What I need. You got what I need. There we go. Excuse me for a second. This freaking every time I open and close the drawer, this damn thing gets in the way. I have two glue guns. I have this one, which I've had for like years, which is actually kind of a low heat, so it's good for like quick jobs. Because it only heats up a certain amount and then it just like dries really quick. Then I have another one which is like super strong. Why do I have an empty box for glue gun? I have another one which is super strong. It like liquefies that glue really quick. Then it also doesn't take. It takes a while for it to dry, of course. So I found out through as I'm going through my freaking drawer here of junk, I found out that through Bill Making Stuff on YouTube. Check him out, Bill Making Stuff. Awesome channel if you want to just learn to make really cool tabletop work or any kind of miniature stuff out of junk. Bill Making Stuff. I found out that you could go online and see that the standard of this is like what? It's like a 1/4 inch. It's your standard American like hole puncher. I say American because I don't know, loose leaf I guess, I don't know, whatever. But apparently they sell ones are like millimeter smaller. Like see the holes in this in the bottom? You can get hole punchers that are like this. And that's what he uses for all of his like rivets. He just gets like a cheap piece of plastic, like thinner than a credit card kind of plastic. And he has a whole collection of little dots that he then meticulously glues on to his models to get like rivets, which is like super cool. It is super cool, super effective. Should I just like just glue it on like this and this? Okay, these need to be put away for now. Just for now. To the side. And And now we pull out this was a Christmas gift from my sister. It is awesome. It is just a series of various tools. Some of them are redundant a little bit. They got these metal round balls. You got these black plastic ones. So some are a little redundant, but I cannot complain. This is what I needed. This is what I needed. I have, many of you have seen my channel before. You know I have a whole kit of like wax carving tools given to me by Cretorius Rex, Joseph Tessman. And that's been my sculpting tools. But to have like just this new selection, to kind of like restart the year with a new selection, also makes a big, big difference. So I'm still like going through them and trying to figure out like which ones are the ones that are like really viable to me. And so far, these are the ones I've been using the most. Basic wood tool, has a nice curve to it. The different types of wire tools. These soft rubber ones, I've always mulled over whether or not I should buy them, which also double as tiny little round balls. Little round bolitas, little tiny ones. Metal one as well. My standard spatula to cut pieces with. This is also the cut clay with. And then this guy, which is just great for like striations. So like, if I need to rough up the sculpture to give it more texture, this is that. And now, let's do some sculpting. I need to buy, once again, I need to buy a little pasta maker thing that just ding 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 ding, this like a freaking dancing monkey machine. And it spits out like rows of it. And I need to get like a wire, like the mafia strangling wire to actually cut big chunks like this. With that said, small chunks I've already pre-cut. Actually, do I have... Stand by. Did I use this little ruler before? Probably use the ruler to cut, as best as I can, some even chunks off of this. Won't be perfect, but... Not perfect. But close enough. Close enough. When in doubt, improvise your tools. Maybe I should go to my local like 99 cent store and just buy like a cheap cooking knife and just use it strictly for clay. Just blah. Let's cut a few more like this. Let's cut a few more, and then we start laying them out. I will flatten them a bit. Where I put you? I saw you. Where I put you? Where'd you roll off? Oh, I'm looking for this. I stood it up. Because I stood it up, I was looking for something that was like this on the table. Anyway. I think I'll do it for now. Just trying to flatten this out a bit more. Really thin it out. I don't even know where I got these from. Might have been an old... I want to say it was like an old Play-Doh playset. Used to, when we were little, my mom... Very little, my mom bought us... Or my dad, or someone bought us... A, like, Mickey Mouse playset, right? Play-Doh Mickey Mouse playset. And it came with these really simple molds that you would, like, you know, put the Play-Doh in, squeeze the molds like a sandwich, and you would get Mickey and Minnie, and it came with, like, a red, a green. It came with the colors of, like, Mickey and Minnie, red, green, blue, and we had that for years. I think it's still in my mom's house, and my mom, I think my niece now plays with it. And I feel like this round, no, this was cut. This might have been, like, a thing my dad did. But I do have small ones, like this. These are like perfectly cut. I feel like these came with that playset. Little tiny ones. I got tools here I haven't used in years. Or as the tools I slowly use over the years, you know? I'm gonna stand up and put some real pressure on this. Gotta be reminded to pay its taxes and let it know that its student loan is due. Put some real pressure on it. You know, make it regret having a family in this aging economy. A house, owning a house. Are you crazy? Can't own a house. Should I make more jokes? I think I should stop. Trying to think of how thin I want this. I kind of want to aim once again. The whole reason I did the metal wiring the way I did, because I figured the wings, like the actual mesh of the wings, will probably be only a few millimeters, or in this case, 1/8 of an inch thick. That's kind of just what I'm aiming for. So I didn't want to try and hide a wire in that, a metal frame, in something that's almost the exact same size. And that seems about right. That seems about literally like the thickness of the wire frame. I could go like really thin. Because, what's it called? I want to say resin, sorry. Not the latex, but the silicone can handle being thin. Like the latex, the mask latex, like this is super thin. You can see my fingers through it, but it still has a pretty good oomph to it. Still on the fence as to whether or not this is going to be latex or silicone. My cohorts are telling me that silicone's really good and I should try for silicone. I'm not familiar with silicone. The issue with silicone is that it primarily has to be poured and held. At least with the latex, you can kind of paint it. And you can pour it in and pour it out, but the latex, I feel like you could paint it. The silicone is different. On one thing is that it's an epoxy, which means you can essentially you can what's the word I'm thinking of? You know, because epoxy, you know the drying time for it. Silicone has an epoxy drying time, while latex is more air dry, so you're kind of at the whim of that. I'm an idiot. I should just lay the whole thing out first and then start cutting into it. Yeah, I'm just gonna lay the next piece right across and then cut into it. I'm such an idiot. You know, treat it like it's dough. Lay it out flat and then make the imprint. Pressure pushing down on me, pushing down on you. Under pressure. Doesn't matter where to put all these tools, you know. As I drop something to the floor. Come on, come on. There we go. I told my friend, you know, you're getting old when you bend over. It sounds like a Minecraft character. Ooh, ooh. I did that the other day. I was at work and I went to bend down and pick something. I just went, ooh, and I realized, oh god, I sound like a freaking Minecraft character getting punched. That's when you know you're getting old. It's called the old man grunt. I think Harvey Birdman mentioned the old man grunt. If you bend down to pick something up and you hear an old man go, ooh, but there's no old man around you, chances are it's you. Whoa, I think our music just ended. It went to a whole new video. So I have it muted right now because they're advertising for the new TV show, The Last of Us. And I gotta give them credit. They hired an actress who looks like Ellie, looks close enough to Ellie. How weird is that? That like, because you have the voice actress, right, who played Ellie, and of course Ellie, she was already pre-designed. You know, they don't always match the voice actor or actress to the character on screen. So Ellie already had some pre-designs, but at the same time, to capture like the facial movement and the eyes, they do put some of the actor and actresses into the character, right? Like that's how you get like certain like you begin to see the eyes of the person. So you have the actress playing a live action version of a video game character who was motion captured by another actress. And when you look at the new actress, you kind of see the voice actress in her. And in case you're wondering, yes, it all ties back once again to Dungeons and Dragons. Primarily Critical Role. Ashley, that's her name. Is she Ashley Johnson? I think she's Ashley Johnson, yeah. My favorite character she's done is Tulip. No, my favorite character she's done, as of recently, is Lake, also known as Mirror Tulip. Because Infinity Train was amazing. And it's a shame that HBO Max doesn't know. It's a shame that freaking streaming services don't know what to do with good stuff. Let me cut that off. Yes, I'm salty. Deal with it. I'm salty because they cancel good stuff. Good animation. All for taxes. I don't care what they say. I don't care if they're like, oh no, it wasn't for the tax purposes. No, of course not. No, it was. They freaking canceled legitimately good shows to do a freaking tax write-off, and that's just insulting. Not just canceled. No, not just canceled. They removed from existence good shows. Because when you do a tax write-off, if you don't know this, as I go off on a tangent, if you don't know this, when you do a tax write-off of something, you are not allowed to make money off of it, which means if a show is written off as a tax write-off, right? A cartoon, a show, whatever, it is essentially removed from existence. There's no toys, there's no t-shirts, there's no reruns, there's no DVD. It is gone. Gone. So if and some countries for a while, like Germany, had certain things where you could write off like entire movies as tax write-offs. Look up Uwe Boll. Uwe, or whatever his name is. But yeah. So you have entire shows that were like, oh, not only are we canceling them, we are actively ensuring you can never see them again. They just gone from existence. And it's like, oh, that's kind of crappy of you. I mean, it's hard enough for someone to get a project off the ground. Like, it's hard enough to get, like, your project, your baby off the ground. Years and years going to, like, different TV stations and just trying so hard to, like, convince people, listen, this is going to be a good show. We have the writers, we have the actors, we have whatever, we have the animators. Only to have them just be like, sure thing. And then when the show is made, just for them to email you, by the way, not only are we canceling the show, we're also ensuring no one will ever see it again. Just FYI. Never, ever, ever, ever again. Kinda shitty. Alright, here we go. And I'm thinking, like, how am I going to do the claws? I think the thumbs will probably be slightly upward towards us. So when we flip it, they're downward. And you can still pour the water in. Because it's all about, when you're doing molds, it's all about, like, freaking knowing where the air is going to go and preventing air bubbles. And it'll also give me a chance to do a little bit of detail on the back of the knuckles. So they won't be completely flat. All right. There she is. Isn't she beautiful? Yes, when we do this, you have to work. I'm definitely have to work on, like, cleaning up, making sure these edges are nice and clean. That'll be a fine-tuning later. I don't know why I'm doing it now. It's the fine-tuning that comes later. Woo! Alright. You guys have watched me ramble. You've watched me do construction. I feel bad if I would stop at the actual art process of it. Like the actual art stage. Yeah, we're going to take a break now. I feel kind of messed up if I did that. There was still a hole, right? You know what? I'm going to put some crazy glue in that. That is driving me nuts. There's still like the tiniest little hole in this damn thing. Let me see if I can get in without spilling it all over myself. I need a pin. Where's my pins? There we go. Always keep a few pins nearby. And just, there's a little hole right here. I want to make sure that this is completely filled as much as possible with whatever adhesive I'm using. Using the pin to get the air out, and that should do that. And to have it dry quickly, because heaven knows I'm going to tap this and all of a sudden it's going to just once again adhere to my finger. Glue and baking powder. Well, crazy glue and baking powder. The baking powder doesn't just like absorb the glue, it reacts with it. I learned that not too long ago. I'm sure a lot of people who do miniatures already know this stuff, but I was new to this. This is good if you don't really care about like the edges of your glue. Like if you're doing like really rough miniatures that are meant to have rust or battle damage, like any kind of miniature work, buildings, whatever it is. This works very well. As I drop every tool I have on the table. There we go. Once again, it's just a little bunch of little needles. Not needles, when you could stab yourself, but it's a bunch of like little metal wiring at the end, just to hold it in place. All right. So this is it. Let me... The issue is I don't want to start sculpting, then hit this rod and the whole thing comes flying off. What I need to do... I feel like I should tape this down. Maybe I should. Yeah. Just to reduce the chance of it just going boom and just flying off one way. Okay. our semi-reference. Put it right there. Now, we don't actually need this. Like, this piece right here is the guy's head. But what I will do is smooth this out. Smooth it out like this. That way, when it's time to attach it, it has a nice clean attachment point. Like that. It's kind of like when you're doing a scar. If you're ever sculpting a scar, you have the scar, but you really tape off the edges. So when it's time to do a rubber mold of it and attach it to your actor or actress, your actor, it just looks more natural. You don't have a really heavy seam. That's what we're doing here. Okay. I feel like I should have. I feel like I should have beveled the edges on this. Probably still can. Should I try? Should I try? Or will it end up messing up the freaking thing? Let me see if I can do a little bevel. 1 second. Okay, let's first make sure that all the freaking magnet. This one magnet that's on my table for another project. It just keeps sticking to everything. There we go. If I could bevel this a little bit, it'll just help me. Earlier I mentioned going to Home Depot and treating it it's like a candy store. I bought a whole pack of these. Let's do a quick test. Like, oh yeah, that works nice. It's my duster. Boom. Dante, you should really have a shop vacuum. I know. I'll get my intern to work on that. Oh, also I did these lines in the middle, these random buzzes right here, to adhere it better. That way the clay doesn't slide off. Okay, let's do a thin layer of clay around this guy. I just hope that when it's time to set this into the mold, like, it's one of the reasons why I want to do the latex instead of the epoxy. Even with the latex, I know I could do I could paint a few layers in to thicken it up and then set the guy in. To the latex, you can paint it back and forth. I don't know. We'll see. Ba-na-na-na-na. I think we should just focus on. But you know what? Let's focus on blocking, like I usually do. We're gonna go ahead, get all the major shapes down first. Just shape it all out, and then, if we feel like we want to, we'll focus on actual fine detailing. That's how you should do it. You should block it out. Just get that clay on the board first. And then you can figure the rest of it out. Put this in the camera, that way people can see what we're aiming for. That's a little. That's this guy right here. This is why I like to make little chunks of the clay. That I can just take pieces of it in small pieces, like take small servings, as they say. Still gotta do the. I think we're on the right track. I think, once again, sticking with like blocking, then spend roughly 2 hours or so detailing it. Then then like a final return to form at the end of that. We could get through both the wings. I think the hardest part would, I think the longest, not longest, but one of the hardest parts will be, of course, just the molding process. The wings should be the easiest. The head will be the most trickiest, because I also want to have mechanic in the head, where we could probably move the jaw. Like I want to make like a little puppet. I'm thinking for the head. You ever had those toys when you were little where it's like a dinosaur head on a stick? You squeeze the stick and the T-Rex head opens and closes. The little mouth opens and closes. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Something like that. That's why I needed hollow piping. If I could put the wire work through it to do that. Why don't I just digitize it? You know, use a remote control, because I don't know how to do that. But I could do some puppet heads. There we go. Just building up the layers. Just put an elbow joint, not an elbow joint, a little knuckle right there. Just trying to, come on. Just trying to get this nice and long. Go ahead and just kind of split it down the middle. Yeah, perfect. The beam is sticking out right here. That's also exactly where the knuckle is. So just add some more clay right there. That's going to be a knuckle. And it'll hide that beam. Perfect. Right, let's use the last bit of this pre-sliced clay and get that thumb filled in. And then at 11:40ish, almost 12 o'clock. Once I get within a few minutes. Let me see. We started at. I want to say we started at 9. Yeah, because at 8:30 I started. I know, maybe a little after 8:30 I started, but maybe before 9 o'clock. Because I want to do a stream, but I was just so tired, and I was like, no, I gotta get up. Get up, Dante. Do that stream. Be productive. Be the you want to be. Be the you want to see in the world. But yeah, so I didn't jump on at exactly 8 o'clock. But I know I jumped on maybe 8:30. Once again, I might do all the claws slightly upward. That way they're not flat on the back ends. We'll see how the sculpting goes. And turn you sideways. Make sure I don't drop the freaking head. Yeah, look at that. That looks good. Is that on camera? Show me. Show me. Let me move this out. Dust in the air. Dust everywhere. Give me a second. I need to realign. Okay, so there's that. Right? And there he is. Yeah. I think that works. Let me see. Let me see how much. I think I should bleed this out a bit more to give me enough room to really connect to the back of the head on this. But yeah, I think that's pretty good. That's pretty good. We got it, man. We got the skeletal structures. Yeah, we got the skeletal structure. We got for both arms, both wings, and we've successfully shaped out this guy, blocked out this guy for now. So we will eventually, I will eventually, I don't know what you guys are doing, but I will eventually work out the details on this guy. So much dust on this table. We're working on details on this guy, and then we'll move to the other wing, and then do the molding. Speaking of which, the other wing. Yeah. That feels good. I'll once again Dremel all of this off, make it easier for when I attach them. And I say we're done for tonight. Thank you for everyone who dropped by, especially you, Orc. Get me posted on that D&D game. I want to be in there. Want to get in there. Thank you to everyone who's going to be watching this later on YouTube. Just as the links up in the corner suggest, you can see a lot of my stuff over on YouTube, DeviantArt, and Instagram. Instagram is usually stuff like this, stuff in progress. DeviantArt is a lot of my older stuff and completed work. And you can even see old streams on YouTube. That's where the old streams are at. Let me turn off that music. Oh my god. Silence. Ah, there we go. So yeah. I think that will be that. Let me put this guy in shot for a minute. I think that'll be that. Put him here. See if he works well for the thumbnail. Let's see if it grabs the thumbnail for him. Let's see what YouTube does for a thumbnail. Anyway, that'll be that, guys. Once again, I am Dante. Like, favorite, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the future. Later.